An accident befalls newspaper columnist John Klein and his wife Mary, who is also a passenger in the vehicle. Mary, who is driving the vehicle, makes a sharp turn to the left in order to avoid colliding with something on the road. A brain scan discloses the presence of a tumor, and not long after this discovery, she tragically succumbs to her illness. After some time has passed, John finds a collection of cryptic drawings that she had made before she passed away. The paintings show a bizarre black-winged monster that she had seen on the night of the accident. 2 years later, while driving to Richmond, Virginia, Klein gets lost and, for some reason, finds himself in the distant town of Point Pleasant, West Virginia. This event is completely inexplicable to Klein. Klein's vehicle breaks down just as he is making his way on foot to a nearby residence in order to call for assistance. Gordon Smallwood, the owner of the house, has a strong reaction to Klein's arrival and keeps him at gunpoint. Klein is unable to leave. Smallwood informs Klein, to his bewilderment, that this marks the 3rd consecutive night he has appeared at his doorstep, asking to utilize a phone. Local police officer Connie Mills defuses the situation while Smallwood tells Klein that this is the 3rd night in a row that Klein has knocked on his door asking to use a phone. Klein winds up checking into a motel in the area and spends his time there pondering how he got so far off course from his intended destination. Officer Mills informs Klein that there have been a lot of weird occurrences in Point Pleasant over the past few weeks. Klein is aware of this information. One day, Klein learns from Smallwood that he had been hearing voices emanating from his sink, ominously foretelling the demise of 99 individuals in Denver. Klein learns this information from Smallwood. Klein takes Smallwood to the doctor to have her checked out because he is concerned that the latter may suffer from the same illness as Klein's wife, which ultimately led to her passing. It was discovered that Smallwood suffers from migraines, but has no other major medical conditions. Klein notices on the news that they are presenting a story about an airplane disaster in Denver that resulted in the deaths of all 99 passengers aboard while they were discussing the events of the day at a local cafe. The following evening, Smallwood reveals in a hurried manner that he had confronted the voices in his head. The term given to the entity is Indrid Cold. As the day advances into the later hours, Smallwood reaches out to Klein, notifying him that he is presently in the company of Indrid Cold. While Officer Klein continues to speak with Cold on the phone, Officer Mills leaves to check on Smallwood. Cold provided Klein with responses to his questions, which led Klein to believe that Cold is a supernatural being. This episode is the first of a series in which Klein's hotel room receives visits from the otherworldly. Klein learns in the course of one of these phone calls that a terrible accident is going to take place on the Ohio River. After some time has passed, Klein gets a call from Smallwood and immediately goes over to check on him. He learns that Smallwood has tragically met his end due to exposure to severe environmental conditions. Klein develops an unhealthy preoccupation with the being that has been referred to as the Mothman. He speaks with an authority on the topic named Alexander Leake, who provides insight into the nature of the supernatural being and describes in detail his personal encounters with it. As Klein approaches the bridge leading into town, there is a backup of traffic due to a malfunctioning traffic light. As Klein walks onto the bridge in order to do additional investigation, the bolts and supports of the bridge begin to experience strain as a result of the weight. As the bridge begins to collapse, Klein is forced to acknowledge that the catastrophe that was foretold to him was in fact the collapse of the bridge. Officer Mills' car is one of the vehicles that gets washed away when the bridge collapses. Klein enters the water after her, grabs her by the arm, and hauls her out of the river and to higher ground. The two individuals realize that they have just made it through the fall of the Silver Bridge while they are seated in the back of an ambulance. In the epilogue, A number of images are presented, each of which states that the reason for the collapse of the bridge was never completely determined. Although the Mothman has reportedly been spotted in different regions around the globe, its presence has not been witnessed again in Point Pleasant. Please subscribe for more videos like this. Your support keeps the reels rolling. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you at the next recap.